Why, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi there. Welcome once more to Reckless Attack, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast. I am, as ever, your GM, Nathan, welcome you here around this beautiful table of even more beautiful players. Hello, players.
Hi. Hello. Hi, listeners.
Why don't you all, once again, remind our dear listeners who you all both are in the physical space, but also who you are in the imagination sphere that we are about to all dive in together, starting with the person on my right.
Hi, everyone. My name is Steve, and I am playing
Sylvesterlin,
the Dragonborn monk, who is chilling out in the void, the welcome void, the welcome void of the restricted section of the library in Agmar.
Yes.
The
Very
Red
chill.
City.
Very unstimulating to the point where it is overstimulating.
And to my right,
Hi, everyone. I'm David, and I play Kaskrin Rightmane, the Dwarven Warlock, who is looking a bit worse for wear.
You went down at least. Did you go all the way down once in the combat?
No.
I can't remember.
But I think he's at least like at a quarter of his hit points.
Ouch.
So yeah, he's looking pretty beat up. But happy that we got a book. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
You know, great. 1 out of 4.
1 down. 1 out of 5.
I'm gonna die here. And to my right.
Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan, and I play Checkers, the Grung Druid, and his trusty frog pals, Mango and Junior. And for the first canonical time, Mango has turned into a puddle of mangoop.
I forgot about that.
And then Checkers made a little mud frog, and then went off and did his own thing, and wow, Mango's back. Incredible, look at that. But he's having fun. The question is this the same Mango as earlier, or is it a different Mango?
Or is it like a clone situation where is it a continuation of the same consciousness?
Exactly.
Or like, are there 5 minutes of memory gap where the kind of spiritual backup files hadn't kicked in yet? What is identity?
Right.
What does it mean to be a large frog? I don't know. These are the questions we answer.
I think it's better if Mango does not remember
Right.
the means of their death.
And to my right,
Hi, everyone. I'm Sophie, and I play Valeska Carter, the human asterisk cleric of the Arcana domain. And Val is really just wishing that last room did not have a filing system. It did, because she was really excited to try and crack the super arcane, possibly highly explosive filing system that the Pentarchy developed.
Yeah.
And the unseen servants / automatons who were supposed to uphold that
The-
high order
the
of
sacred
filing
rules of library organization.
corrupted it. And she just can't get over that. She's in her thoughts in this welcome void a lot, just thinking about library filing
What could have
systems.
been? If only. Finally, it was a normal room. It could have been cool, but alas, those damn unseen servants. We find our adventurers once more, as Steve said, in the void of welcoming, TM, capital V, capital W, and the blank white void that you guys stepped into when you came here into the restricted section and met Titanius, the very stable, feeling good, not at all having an identity crisis, dwarven ghost who used to be a librarian here who has been stuck in the restricted section as it is overflowing with magic for several decades, 50, 60 plus years. And he's doing great. He's thriving. He's met new friends, and he has seen these new friends and hopeful rescuers, or at least just someone who's not himself, return back into his void from getting the first book on their list, the Pentarchy Proclamations, Volume 19. We've kind of caught up a little bit, but what is it? How's everyone like emerging from this portal? And like, what's the vibe? What's the like? How beat up are you guys? How excited? How good are you feeling? What's the kind of like? What's the mood? What's the morale of the party? 1 down, 4 more to go.
So, I imagine we fought the automatons. We had this like weird ghost worm kind of thing just like flying around, breathing poison on us. And I imagine the last 15 minutes were kind of like a hectic, frantic dash to find this book and like just get the fuck out of here. Like I don't want to be here anymore.
Yep.
Nope. And so Kaskrin like stumbles out of this doorway that Selv has, reopened, collects himself, and then like yells at Titanius like, "What the hell was that? What did you send us into?"
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh my gosh.
As Val is exiting, she's just kind of slowly following Selv, like calmly following Selv out the door, kind of muttering to herself. And you can see her mime, like putting books on the shelf, still trying to puzzle out how the sports section was filed.
It's on her mind.
And being like, I get it, but like, why? Like, I don't. Who does that? And she's still just like caught up in that, not in the moment, realizing like, nope, we're still in a highly magical, unstable place and should really get my head back in the game.
Yes, totally.
And Checkers is just like poking Selv, just like, Selv, the Grand Serviciousness, super cool, right? Love that thing.
So Selv is kind of in between guiding Val through the doorway and getting poked in the side by Checkers.
Some real like dad
Yeah.
or toddlers
Yeah.
energy,
Yeah.
basically.
And he's trying to explain and also have a conversation with Checkers at the same time. But there's kind of a,
Well, you see, the sports was green with blue trim, and so obviously couldn't be put next to the teal of the signed documents section. And so, and yes, Checkers. It was very, very cool, Checkers, yes. Lots of, although I imagine there would be a lot more order to following the Grand Serviciousness than you are normally used to.
Kaskrin has waited until we've reached the welcome void again to like go through his pack and drink a health potion.
Yeah.
Because like, who knows what would have happened if we had it in like the other room? Just like, man, magic's weird.
Totally, absolutely. You're just like trudging through and just like chugging potions like it's a beer just
Yeah.
after a long day at the mines.
And like, he is listening to this conversation about the sports section and like doesn't quite get it. Like, I don't know, they're books.
It's probably safe to say that no one truly gets it. So that's probably fair. Titanius, again, the ghost who is sitting behind this large desk, stacks of books on kind of either side of him, and skeleton still slumped over. Kind of no matter how it is jostled or no matter what direction the desk is facing, the skeleton seems to be always semi-permanently right in the same spot. The ghost kind of looks up again, checks in with you guys, makes sure everyone has made it out, and says, okay, you did it, one down. And then, I don't know... time. You did spend it, and you had limited amounts, but there's no clocks, and I haven't experienced linear time.
We've been gone for about 20 minutes, but we came in here about 40 minutes ago.
Okay, minutes. Yep, I remember that those exist. How many of those do you have again? And do we do, and he kind of looks, hopefully, you guys, do we have before leaving?
Oh, and like hearing Titanius's under the surface panic-stricken voice answer kind of snap out of her thought process, and honestly probably just being asked a math question, be like, we have 240 minutes total. It's a good thing if we stick to that. Yeah, 240 minutes.
So you have 240 minutes. That's great. That's great news. That's a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
You have the 40 minutes.
I think you may be misinterpreting that.
So we have
We have
200.
240 minutes,
Oh.
not 240 minutes.
Oh, yes.
So what Val is saying is we should keep it moving if we can. And Kaskrin again is trying to like heal himself up, like patch himself up from the last encounter, and will say, Titanius, I think this is the big one that we need. Can you look up the Libre Morte for us? I think it might be in a more dangerous section than the one we got out of.
He kind of snaps out of his trying to remember how math and counting works, and just is like, oh yeah, of course, next section. And he pulls out, kind of knocks on his desk once more, and the magical Rolodex kind of pops back up from a hidden compartment, and he starts spinning and starts kind of doing the intricate movements that kind of started flipping through the various catalogs of books. And then you say Libre Morte, and you say that it's in a dangerous section, and he kind of stops for a second, and he looks up at you, and then looks back down, and then just like starts scrolling once again, a little slower than the last time. Looks down at the card, looks up at you guys again, and if he had any saliva, would swallow, and then plucks the card kind of out and says, well, here's the next one. Before... There are rules here, so before I give you this, I have to take back the first one. It's a one in, one out kind of situation, and I never found out what happened when you break the rules.
Let's not start. That's sensible policy.
I agree.
Checkers was literally about to go up and grab the next one before Selv had given it back, and at Titanius is like, I don't know what happens if you break the rules. Checkers is like,
Val steps in front of Checkers between him and Titanius, be like, no, we're not finding this out now.
Checkers is just small enough that he was able to be like out of line of sight from the desk, and so he didn't see that you were about to reach for it.
Yeah, there's like a little frog hand that just shoots out from out of Titanius's field of vision, almost touching the card, and then just gone.
I will produce the previous card, and hand that back.
And who is the official person who's checking this out?
The frog hand comes back up.
Yep.
And touches the card and pulls it back. But I do have a question.
Yes.
Is there any information on this card outside of just the title of the book? Like, I'm wondering, do we know who wrote this from the index card or any other like identifying information?
No, so this is, once again, it's a great question, but the note card itself is gibberish.
Okay.
For anyone. Like, even Val was kind of looking at it and was like, okay, I recognize the symbols and I kind of remember the language that this is written in, basically. But even for Val, it's like, I can't read this. Like, this is not giving me useful information because it's so dense with like arcane protection and riddles and all this other stuff.
It basically looks like a code.
Yeah, it's like
Val.
Wingdings is the font that this is in, basically.
Like magical ancient wingdings.
Yes. Yeah, right, exactly. That were scrawled in someone hand wrote out a Wingdings, basically.
Cool.
So, Checkers, you have in hand
Yes.
the note card, and Titanius again kind of looks down at you and he's like, now, just to hammer it home, this is your responsibility. Don't lose it.
We trust you, Checkers. I believe in you.
Jonathan is stroking his chin.
I'm just trying to think, like, is Checkers gonna play a prank with this?
He has time to figure it out if he wants to.
Yeah. But for right now, Checkers is like, yep, totally, Titanius, I gotcha. I'll hang on to it, no problem.
Val will look Checkers in the eye, put both hands on his shoulders, make direct eye contact, saying, Checkers, this is a big responsibility. I believe you can do this, and we are trusting you to keep track of this card because we cannot risk losing it in this place and risk anything happening to you, to our party, to the entire city of Agmar. You are solely responsible for us getting in and out of this room in one piece and together.
Yeah, I got you, Val. I've got the card right here. And I pull out the same hand that had the card, and the card is very clearly not there.
Just empty, empty hand, but you're just pantomiming it?
Wait, Val, I just had it. Wait, where'd it go?
I think Val has enough insight and experience with checkers to know he's fine.
You're just going to count on your passive insight to be like, I'm making a character choice that I think you still have it.
And then
Yes.
Junior just holds it up from the hat or something.
No, it's like Checkers is trying to be funny, and Val just like straight face looks at
Yeah.
him like, I'm taking this seriously, and Checkers just weakly just reaches behind your head and go, it's in your ear. Yay. And then he like goes and like uses the card.
Titanius just laughs. He's like, I haven't had enough mortal interaction for the last 70 years to tell if that's a good joke or not, but good luck, I guess. So, Checkers, you saw what Selv did last time, which
Yep.
was basically just turn it into a doorknob.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm imagining this as like not just a regular library door, but as Checkers like slides the card into some invisible slot somewhere, and all of a sudden these large like elevator doors kind of open, and inside is this just regular looking like elevator. It's like old like 1960s like plastered like bad carpet and like wallpaper and stuff, and it just smells dusty and old.
Absolutely. And as you are looking in, and you're probably the only one who can see this didn't happen with Selv's card. Selv's was just a normal like boom, boom, open door. And this one, as it opens up into this kind of, again, maybe you would know about elevators. I don't know.
Yeah.
There was a high technology era a couple centuries ago. But as you insert the card and kind of call upon this entrance, as you pull the card back out, you see it looks different.
Mm-hmm.
That now there is this kind of filigree on the outside of it, where previously it was literally just a very boring note card with like a 3-hole punch in it and then Wingding's font.
Yeah.
But now when you pull it out, you see that it's almost like a frame of just little Art Deco-y, but like Gothic decoration around it. And now it is no longer a white note card. It's kind of grayish. It is turned into something a little different.
Mm-hmm. As we step in, there's only one button on the elevator, and Checkers just pushes it.
Unthinkingly, he's like,
just
obviously.
we're going there. As the doors close and they kind of creak shut, the elevator just goes down and down and down, and it feels like it's just going for a really, really long time.
Important question: is there elevator music?
I was going to ask the same thing. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, right.
More important question is, does it go down for like 3 hours, and thereby wasting our entire time? Or
it's a lot less time than we would think, but it feels like it's forever because of the droning elevator music.
Absolutely.
as it plays the girl from Ipanema?
Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's just this like hurdy-gurdy music that is just like one instrument playing the same 6 measures of music over and over and over.
See, I thought it was really gonna go on theme where it's just like a death march, kind of like very low rumbling, but it's still the girl from Ipanema.
Well, we'll see what kind of music budget we have if we can commission a goth girl from Ipanema.
Oh God, I really want that.
I know. We'll talk about that. Okay, so this elevator descends and descends and descends, and you hear scraping as it kind of goes up against whatever arcane elevator shaft sides that this is. And you hear creaking, you hear all the sounds that if you are afraid of going on elevators, those are the sounds that it makes. Until eventually there is a creak and a slow and kind of a final bounce as you sense that the elevator has stopped moving. And the doors open. And before you is a long, dark hallway. Before you even get a sense of the details of it, I would like everyone to make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Castrin with a 19.
Ooh.
Checkers with an 8.
Mm-hmm.
Val with the 17.
Ooh.
Selv with a 12.
You have this tiny moment where the doors have opened and you are kind of opened up into this new area, and you are all walloped by this oppressive feeling. It is like you are adjusting to pressure, like you have suddenly been dropped into the depths of the ocean and your bodies are constricted a little bit, and it's like your nose and your mouth are filled with these sensations of like dust and of something almost suffocating. You all continue to feel this, but for most of you are able to kind of steel yourselves accordingly and just kind of hold on. But Checkers,
Yeah.
you're a little guy.
I'm small.
You're just a little guy, and it crunches you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You specifically feel in maybe one of your pockets, in a pouch or something, somewhere on your person, you feel a burning sensation.
Checkers is gonna like, ow, 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 and like take off the pouch at his belt and open it up and see like what is happening.
What you find is the little folded piece of paper that Azan gave you that was Checkers shaped, that he said would help protect you against waves of magic that is just kind of in the atmosphere. You can see it's on fire.
Checkers is gonna pull out this like burning little piece of paper that looks exactly like Checkers, and he just like starts trying to blow on it, like, guys, I'm on fire. Ah.
Oh no, Checkers, stop blowing. Checkers, create water.
And
if Checkers doesn't react fast enough, Val will try to like cup her hands over it to cut off oxygen
Yeah,
supply.
you have a barrel of water
yeah,
too.
I was thinking, but I don't want to get it wet.
So Selv will walk up to Val and just say,
Yeah, I'm imagining like it's like you just put your hand over Checkers' hand, so
Yeah.
like you are right there and just holding it as he's also just like staring.
Yeah.
That's what's unfolding.
Open your hands.
and I will just a little bit of frost breath and see if that puts it out or cools Checkers down or does something.
Yeah, and Checkers, for you, as you're holding it, while it was really hot in your pocket, and that kind of like signaled it to you, as you're holding it, it's like it's emitting no heat at all.
Okay.
But it looks like it's just totally on fire. You can see all the bits of paper kind of burning up. I'm actually going to retcon it because I like this idea that instead of it being checker shaped, it's like tricorn hat shaped.
Oh, sure.
And is lightly on fire. But you get a first row seat as kind of the magic of Selv's breath kind of interacts with it. And just, it's like there's two warring elements for just a moment where the fire and the ice just kind of spin around in this big conflagration until whoosh, there's a big exhalation of air just kind of dissipates both effects, and you look down and your hat is still structurally intact but is charred now.
And do I notice anything different about myself? Like, am I burning? Do I feel anything different? Or is it just like the hat is singed and blackened?
What do you say in reaction to all of this happening, and in terms of like Val and Selv kind of both jumping in and helping you?
I think Checkers just takes a second and like looks and stares at the hat. Like when Azan gave us this stuff, he wasn't really taking it too seriously. He's like, oh, fun, little origami things.
Right.
That's great. And now entering the room and seeing that it is burning, and then like everyone kind of had to rush to help Checkers put this thing out. It's starting to click in Checkers' mind, like maybe he should take this a little seriously.
So as you're doing that and kind of like looking and pausing and just kind of processing all of this, I don't know, maybe you're taking a deep breath, maybe you're taking short breaths, or maybe you're just breathing, but like there's like a raspiness in your throat where it's not bad, but it's like your throat is burnt just a little bit. It's not painful, but it's like you got dust kind of just in your lungs and in your throat.
And Checkers will just like put the hat away and just start like I got a frog in my throat.
I would imagine there is like a little bit of ash that comes out as you're like coughing.
Totally.
Yeah.
All the rest of you still feel that oppressive feeling. Like it doesn't go away. It is now like your bodies were kind of able to fight against it and kind of equalize it, but it feels like you're just being lightly crushed on all sides.
I imagine it like, we're down at the bottom of a shaft, like at the bottom of the ocean kind of oppressiveness where it's just black everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And as this is happening, the door is open. Kaskrin is already like on full alert. Does he see anything or intuit anything with his senses? Like,
yeah.
Anything like, is there anything coming at us as this is happening?
Yeah. So I love the idea that Cass sees this happening but sees that it's gotten taken care of and moves immediately into like, all right, they've got that handled. What's coming? Is there anything dangerous we need to worry about? And there is one direction to look, and it is straight ahead of you. As your eyes kind of get used to this pitch blackness, it's not magical darkness, but it is the darkest darkness that probably any of you have seen, because there's no moon, there's no stars. And as you look out, there are no sources of light. But Kaskrin, you, with your dark vision, can see out at least a little ways. You look around, and it's a pretty narrow hallway, all things considered, probably 5-10 feet across, and it appears to be made out of stonework, bricks and mortar, basically. And right on the edge of your dark vision, you see a door on one side of the hallway, just one lone door, and you can't make out much of the details because it's kind of a little far away and at a bad angle, but you can see there's an indentation where clearly there's a rectangular door.
Kaskrin's going to like kind of fist bump your shoulder, Checkers.
Yeah.
To just like say, game time. And Kaskrin's going to pull out the little wooden charm that Checkers made for each of us. He's going to kind of like take the little wooden helmet off, revealing the continual flame spell that's cast on this wooden carving, and kind of like take that forward into the darkness.
The four of you plus Mango start advancing, and that feeling of kind of intensity is kind of all around you and still just adding this oppressive atmosphere. It is unbelievably dark. Nothing is emitting any reflections. There is no external light sources. It is just, as far as Kaskrin's little charm goes, is it.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hi everyone, it's me, Checkers, the Grung Druid. I'm a pretty small, stealthy fellow, and I know I can be hard to find sometimes. But you know what's not hard to find? Reckless Attack, on the internet. Hop on over to our website, recklessattack.com, for links to all of our social media. We love hearing what you think about the show, and leaving a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts is another great way to let others know about us. Finally, if you'd like to join the Frog Stack and support Reckless Attack, we've got a Patreon, where you can get ad-free episodes a day early, and access to our Behind the Screen series, where we talk about the show and how it all comes together. Thanks again for listening, and I hope you make time today to have a little fun. Bye!
The floor is dirt here. And the walls, again, appear to be mortal made. They are, again, kind of brick mortar situation. And you get to this doorway, which is just off to the left, kind of on the left-hand side of this hallway. As you approach it, you see that there are more doors beyond. In this doorway, there is a thick wooden door that is very sturdy and appears to perfectly fill the entirety of the door frame. The door has no windows, no nothing, but there is a handle, and it is filled with locks and chains and bolts, as if someone locked something inside of here and does not want it to get out. Right in the middle, there's a nameplate on this door. And you look at it, and you look, and you try to, like, okay, there's a kind of a loop. Wait, what? And it's like you look and you get confused. Or you look and it just doesn't, you can't quite get it in focus, even when every part of the world around you is in total focus. You just can't read it.
I imagine it's like when you're reading a book and then all of a sudden your mind just wanders and you have to go back and read it again. Like that, Cashman is trying to figure out what this says, but like his attention just keeps slipping.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to actually touch the nameplate, close my eyes, not look at it, and just trace it and see if I can make out what each individual letter is. Even though it looks blurry, maybe it feels like, well, that's an R.
Roll me an intelligence check.
17.
Roll me a constitution saving throw.
Yeah, that's going to be bad. That's a 4.
As you are just kind of slowly tracing your hand over this nameplate, you can feel those little bit of indentations, and as you're just trying to piece it together, you realize that even those light indentations are moving under your hand. So something that you could maybe, I don't know, maybe it's like an S or something, you feel it morph and connect to other letters and expand and contract and just manipulate itself. And then you all see Selv, in a flash of purple energy, get blown backwards.
Ugh.
And you take 13 points of force damage.
Okay, not touching the nameplates.
And you all, this whole time, it has been deathly silent. The only things making any noise in here are you guys. And as this kind of arcane explosion happens, there is a rumble. And some dust kind of kicks up a little bit. And just the hallway shakes ever so. But as soon as that happens, things die down other than Selv has been blown backwards.
There was no door on the other side of the hallway, was there?
No, yeah,
Because
correct.
that would suck.
Yeah, just pinball back and forth.
Yeah. Selv is on the ground against the wall and puts his hand on the ground next to him, shakes his head a little bit, says,
Oh, don't touch the nameplates.
Selv, are you okay?
Oh, that's going to leave a mark.
Val, seeing what happened, will, without touching the door, take a look at the lock and the nameplate and pull out the liminal looking glass and use its charge for the day to cast Identify on the door.
So you all see Val take out her looking glass, and as she does, you all smell like a whiff of ozone after this kind of explosion, where there is that kind of smell in the air. And Val takes out her looking glass and kind of holds it up, and Val, your eye is... How do I put this?
I don't like what it's about to happen.
You look, it is as if someone shines a mag light straight into your eyeball. You reflexively have to pull back. And as you are kind of just like, even just in the moment or reflexively waving it around, everything around you is steeped in magic. And it takes you a second both to recover, but you have to like focus in the looking glass even more than usual to like hone in on, to cut through all of the kind of magic and magical effects. There are at least a dozen spells on this. It is layer and layer and layer of magic. And it's not just that these spells have been cast consecutively on this one thing. It's so much magic have been cast so many times in such specific ways that it's all blending together.
As Val like finishes looking through the looking glass, she's like, "Oh frick! Of the 12, oh," and like rubs her eye, like, "Oh," like starts looking up to like
stars
let it
in your
water.
eyes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like just blinks a lot. It's like, oh, it's a really magical door, team. So much magic, so much door.
Kaskrin is continuing to look at this door, are the locks on the inside or the outside? Like, is it keeping something out, or keeping us out, or keeping something in?
It is keeping something in, all the locks and stuff. Obviously, there are protections for keeping people out as well, as Selv has firsthand discovered, but these are all external locks that someone who wanted to go inside would have to disable, unlock, what have you.
Checkers, after seeing the light shine into Val's eyes, after seeing Selv get blown back into the hallway, looks like someone doesn't want us getting in there. Well, too bad. And just cracks his knuckles, pulls out his little bone thieves' tools.
Obviously, we need to go into this door.
Are we sure the book's behind that door?
There are other doors down the hallway. Again, you haven't gotten in front of them. This was just the first door that you guys have passed. But you can see further down, there are more doors.
Val will collect herself and say, Checkers, hold on one moment. And
a common refrain on the Golden Tree Guild.
Val will just kind of speak to the hallway, into the darkness. Hello. I'm hoping someone is here that could help us find what we seek.
There's a moment. You kind of pause for a second. You wait. No sound is reflected back until you hear further down the hall, and probably Cascarin or anyone with dark vision can see the next door. You hear and see a thud where all of the chains that are on the next door rattle, and then the one in front of you, thud, rattles. You all start to hear a cacophony of sounds and wrestling and screeching and all kinds of horrible sounds emitting from doors in this section, as if a zoo has come alive and is shaking at their shackles.
My bad, team.
Sorry, I liked your idea. I liked Selv's idea a lot, and it's like, yep, this place sucks, and I'm very sorry. I don't want to discourage you doing these things. It just is bad right now. Checkers, as this kind of side discussion is going on, as all this is happening, are you looking at this door, ready to approach it?
Checkers was waiting with bated breath and hoping that nothing came back so he could use his thieves' tools. And thankfully, nothing important came back. So he's ready to go. He's looking at this first lock. He's studying the door just to make sure, what's his angle of attack, that kind of stuff.
Because it's you, Checkers, and because we talked about it earlier, you kind of around this door. And anyone probably would have been able to notice it, but maybe not necessarily put it together because they didn't see what you saw. And what you saw was on the card you received after you kind of put it in, there was a new pattern and a new frame around it. As you're looking, as you're kind of like henchmen tiptoeing to be like, hey, you notice that around this door is a similar but different pattern and filigree around it than the one that you have on your particular book card.
And just kind of glancing around, am I close enough to other doors to see if they have a similar filigree or are they different in some way?
Yeah, I'll say that the light extends just far enough. And you don't have dark vision, correct?
I don't, but I've also got the little wooden skull of the fortunate.
Yeah,
so.
I'll say that just kind of on the outskirts of Cascarin's flame token, that you kind of look around as everyone's like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? What's going on? Checkers, what are you doing? Oh my God. But you can see that the next door, which is on the right-hand side now, it seems like they're maybe alternating different sides, also has a decorative frame around it that is different still. That is not what you're seeing on the door in front of you, and also not what was on the library card that you hold in your hands.
And Checkers will make that clear to everyone. Hey guys, check this out. And he holds up the card that was given to us. When we came in here, this card changed. And look, it's got this cool little frame on it now. But also, look at the door. It's also got a cool frame, but it's a different frame. So I don't think this is the door we're supposed to go in. I think we have to find a door that has the same matching frame as the card.
Makes sense. Nice job, Checkers.
Yeah.
And Val, I was gonna say, Checkers high fives himself as Val offers a high five. It's like, oh well.
Yeah, no, Checkers just high-fives himself. Nice.
So, there is still a cacophony. It's already kind of starting to die down a little bit, but now you guys are able to like pick up individual sounds a little bit more, and sometimes it's thuds, sometimes it's screeching. Every once in a while, there's like a blood-curdling, mortal scream of someone dying, but also of all kinds of chirps and whirs and musical notes and just this cacophony of strange things that don't make sense together. But Checkers has a lead. I'm going to ask you guys to make another group skill check. Now, this time, since you are not really going through a library section, there might be some amount of order, but you can't really tell because you can't read any of the names. I will entertain different skills that you guys will be using either as you separate or as you kind of stick together to kind of find the place. Also, Checkers, as the bearer of the card, you will have advantage on this.
Nice.
And I'll also say, as you guys are proceeding further down and starting to compare, to contrast, that one has 3 skulls on it and not the 2 skulls or whatever, it starts to branch. And it is not just a singular hallway. It could be very easy to get lost in this place.
Val is, to no one's surprise, trying to find any type of pattern recognition in the door frames because it is her firm belief. Like, libraries are her religion.
Yes.
There has to be order. There has to be,
of course,
logic.
Of course.
And so she is taking her time looking at the door frames, especially when she came to the grid section. And she'll take some time to look at the card that Checkers has, look at the different styles of other door frames, and just see like, okay, this one is in the Art Deco style, but has maybe like different filigree, or like the door frames have squares on the corner, whereas like Checkers has like diamonds on the corner of his card. Try to find that. So I was thinking like
an investigation, maybe something intelligence based, probably.
Yeah. Or I was thinking like Arcana, because like it's like a magical filing system a bit.
I'll allow Arcana. That's fine.
Okay.
Because this is obviously a pretty magical place.
Does Val get any bonuses for her job being library?
I think this is unfortunately too weird of a library that this is more your feat of pattern recognition and ciphers and that kind of stuff, which is why I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely roll that. That makes total sense.
Not great. 13.
Okay.
So you mentioned that this area is confusing. It's dark. It's oppressive.
Yes. And you might even still honestly be a little distracted by like your burning lungs and throat and whatever. So it is not a fun, experience for Checkers in particular, but anyone. It is labyrinthine and dark, and you get lost almost immediately.
Right. And so Checkers is going to really focus his time on making sure the group stays connected, that we stay moving in the same direction, that no one's wandering off anywhere, especially Checkers. And just, I'm hoping to use survival to just keep us navigating in the right direction.
Yep, absolutely. I think that's a great, especially as everyone else is kind of working to like try and figure out, is there a pattern? Is there anything like that? I think that's perfect.
Cool. Man, low rolls today. 13 as well for Checkers. He is really distracted by the burning sensation in his lungs to keep everyone moving.
Yeah, and you're only able to do like, maybe you're only able to do like one thing where it's like, I can keep people together or I can try to wayfind, but I can't do both.
Right.
And so I can only sort of do one or the other kind of thing. Absolutely. Self, what do you do?
So I was thinking this was put together by librarians. And so,
At least at one point.
yeah, and if it was by the Pentarchy, then it should be organized in Pentarchy standard. And so I was thinking with the Libre Morte, L and M are kind of in the middle. And so my suggestion was to use insight to try to figure out where a law and order society would place specific books according to the alphabet. And so I'm going to move, somewhere towards the middle and concentrate on there.
So I'm going to be cool with insight because I like the idea of I'm just trying to I'm not trying to read what the section is. I'm trying to read what the intention might have been.
Yes.
So yeah, give me a roll.
Okay. A total of 23.
Wow.
Nice.
I think that's also what you rolled in the last one.
So I'm getting the sense that this is like a prison down here, and we are trying to navigate through these, jail cells.
Absolutely.
Almost. Okay. I know that there's so much sound, so many noises that are here, but does it seem like anyone is paying attention to us? I guess if we could we interact with them, or are they just off in their own world making these noises?
Ooh. What would you like to do to investigate and or engage someone or something? And someone is probably, hopefully not the right term for this, but to engage whatever presence is on the other side of one of these doors.
I'm almost imagining Caspin's going down and knocking on each of these doors. They already know that we're here. He's trying to find maybe one of these beings, anything, is intelligent enough for us to communicate with. Try and use persuasion.
I love that. I love that idea a lot. Give me a persuasion roll.
Natural 20.
Hey!
Oh, hey, what's the total?
26.
Whew. You are knocking on... Are you knocking on every door that you guys are passing? Just to see?
There's so much noise anyway. He's doing 3 quick knocks on each door just to see what happens.
So every once in a while, nothing happens. And you don't know whether they're empty, whether they're unresponsive, whether it's something else. And then other times, whatever sound is emitting only becomes more intense, where you can hear the sound of a jungle in through one of the doors, and it's as if someone just turns up the volume and intensity, and now monkeys are howling and shrieking, and you can hear tiger roars and all kinds of just intense sounds, and are met with no seeming intelligence or anything like that. Eventually, though, you hear a voice.
Hello. Who's there?
I'm already terrified.
Caspian returns in that same voice. We are here to find a book. Can you help us? And he doesn't know if this is I'm imagining this is actually the third time this has happened where something has returned words
Sure.
to him, but the last couple times have been just mimicry. Someone, he says hello, someone says hello back.
Yes.
So it's he's hesitant.
I can be a book.
I don't know what that means.
I can be whatever you need. Just open the door.
Caspian has not told anyone else yet that he has found this, but he is going to say, he's going to ask, I could do that, but who are you?
I'm me. Here to help. Let me out.
Does Caspian get any sort of compulsion to open the door?
Roll me an insight check or something along the lines that would kind of check in with yourself to be wait a second, am I being mind controlled?
Yeah, do I want to open this door more than normal? 16.
You can feel a shadow or a pale reflection of something try to kind of grasp at your thoughts, but you're not fighting it. it's just you're noticing it's like this isn't really doing it. It's trying to do something, but it's not affecting me, or not even powerful enough, or not coherent or corporeal or whatever it is not enough to even force you to make like a saving throw game mechanic wise, but it's trying to prickle at you just a little bit through the door.
And Kaskrin will reply, like I said, my friends and I are looking for a book, and I appreciate your willingness to help, to be a book, but
I can be a friend too. I can help. I'll help, and I'll be a friend. Yeah, I'll be a friend. Yeah.
we're looking for the Libre Morte.
Oh, yeah. I think that's on the other side. Just go two up and start going to the left, somewhere that way. It's a little confusing, in here, but you go there and then come back and friends. Be friends. Yeah, friends, right?
Catherine will just say, "Thank you. You've been very helpful."
Wait, friend, come back, friend.
Kaskrin, as you get this last bit of kind of detail, again, you guys have been wondering, not all that long, but have been kind of trying to figure things out, piece together whatever semblance of order there is. And you get this last little detail. You move forward a couple rows, you go over a little bit, and suddenly you're just kind of looking around, just gazing. At the corner of your eye, you notice some words, which is a novel experience.
Yeah.
Here. And you turn, and in front of you is a similarly padlocked, chained up, totally unopenable door. Except on the nameplate, it reads Libre Morte.
Kaskrin is going to try to get everyone's attention, even amidst the noise of the hallways.
I feel like Val is really making Checker's job hard, where she's like, no, I just have to look at this door a little bit more. And Checker's like, God.
Come on. And he's going to try to get everyone around and, double check that everyone can read the same thing, and it's not just a hallucination being in here.
Yep. Everyone can see it. It is perfectly legible. It is like kind of the classic all caps, very stylized font that just reads right there.
And so Kaskrin, with everything going on, says, I think we found it. Now, how do we get in?
Maybe the card.
And Checkers has his thieves' tools. Just like, Checkers is, and he's been excited this whole time to get to use his thieves' tools. Like he's been stuck in a maze full of locks.
Yep.
And he's like, I just want to lockpick. I just want to get rid of some of these locks. So he's going to study the door a little bit, confirms that it's the right one, make sure that it's not unlocked, and start trying to lockpick some of these locks to get them to open, because he wants to test himself against this door.
What does it look like? And again, there's tons of lock. Most, there's a lot of ones that just kind of like slide over, like a hotel lock kind of thing. But there are definitely a few kind of like padlocks and all kinds of strange things. So just, can you describe how Checkers would approach one of those and what it looks like as he clicks it open and opens this door?
Man, I have a really dumb idea.
Do it.
It's, again, like I transparently will tell you as GM, Checkers can literally, within reason, but like the act of Checkers going up with the intention to open it is what makes it work. Yeah. Checkers could be like, I bump it with my butt and everything falls off and like it opens. So like, have at it.
So I'm imagining Checkers using the index card that he got in not the intended way. He's going to actually use it like, you know how sometimes you can open up door locks with a credit card?
Yes.
You slide it in?
Absolutely.
He's going to use the index card to just like slide open some of those locks on the door. It's like, well, yeah, this card matches this door, but he's going to like try and pick the lock with it.
you guys see Checkers jimmying this lock with the note card, and just hilariously, every chain and lock all just flies open and drops to the ground very dramatically in ways that are totally unconnected from whatever Checkers was doing. And the door, like, you don't even open the door. The door, now unrestrained, just swings open.
Another self high five for Checkers.
It is totally dark. Seems pretty shallow. So the only source of light even in here is the token that Cass is carrying. Inside this room, sitting on what appears to be a carved out bench on the opposite side, is a figure. Reclining very nonchalantly. They appear to be wearing some long black robes. They are a relatively small, human-sized kind of individual who has totally white skin and a shaved head. This person looks up and meets eyes with you, and their eyes are totally pitch black. No whites, no irises, nothing. And cocks their head, furrows their brow, says, "And who might you be?"
I think our question is, who are you?
I'm sorry, I thought you would have known. You're presumably here to get me. I'm the Libre Morte. And that is where we will end this week's episode, everyone. See you next week. Yay!
Yay.
Everyone is so quiet.
That's not confusing.
And he is going to pull out the little skull
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
fortunate and like open it up
Mm-hmm.
and kind of move forward a little bit. So the skull has continual light cast on it. And like Casquin doesn't really need it so much, but he is kind of leading.
The skull of the fortunate?
No, sorry.
A little charm.
Little
No,
charm.
the little thing
Oh.
that Checkers made each of us had.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, let me-
sorry.
I was also
I was
wait a
like, we
second.
didn't
Yeah.
keep this fortunate skull.
Yeah, sorry. Let me
No,
go back a little bit.
you
Yeah,
didn't
help.
keep
I love it. Sick as hell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let me
yeah,
go back.
yeah,
So-
sorry.
It's continuous flame. Too.
Okay, it's flame. Okay.